The first thing Adrian Vale noticed was the pair of eyes. Not the torn coat. Not the trembling hands holding a paper cup. Not the crowd walking past without a second glance. It was those eyes, familiar, haunting, impossible to forget. They belonged to someone he had spent years trying to erase from his memory. Someone who had vanished from his life without a single explanation, leaving behind only questions and heartbreak. And now, on a bright afternoon outside one of the city's busiest shopping malls, the woman sitting on the cold pavement as a beggar was the very same girl who had disappeared from his life 7 years ago. Before we continue, if you believe in kindness, forgiveness, and second chances, please take a moment to like this video, comment your thoughts, share it with your friends, and subscribe to Heartline Stories. Your support helps us bring more emotional stories that touch hearts around the world. For a moment, Adrian stood frozen among the crowds. The laughter of families, the sound of traffic, and the music from nearby stores seemed to fade into silence. He stared at the woman sitting against the wall near the mall entrance. Her face looked older than her years, marked by exhaustion and hardship. Yet there was no mistake. It was Celine Hart. The woman he once believed he would spend his life with. 7 years earlier, Celine had been the brightest part of Adrian's world. They met during their final year at university. She was ambitious, kind, and full of dreams. Together they planned a future filled with hope. They talked about careers, travel, and building a life side by side. Then one morning, she was simply gone. No goodbye. No explanation. No letter. No phone call. Nothing. Adrian searched for months. He contacted friends, relatives, and former classmates. Every lead ended in disappointment. Eventually, he accepted the painful reality that she had chosen to leave. The unanswered questions hardened into scars. He buried himself in work and slowly built a successful life as the owner of a growing technology company. From the outside, he seemed successful and complete. Inside, a small part of him remained trapped in the mystery of her disappearance. Now fate had placed her directly in front of him. As people hurried past, dropping occasional coins into her cup without looking at her face, Adrian felt a storm of emotions rise within him. Anger battled compassion. Confusion fought against old memories of love. He could have walked away. Most people would have. But something inside him refused to leave. He crossed the sidewalk and stopped a few feet away. When Celine looked up, recognition flashed across her eyes. The color drained from her face. She looked as if she had seen a ghost. The silence between them felt heavier than the noise of the entire city. Adrian noticed how thin she had become. Her hands shook slightly. The confidence he once admired had been replaced by quiet sadness. Whatever had happened during those missing years had clearly changed her life completely. He offered to buy her lunch. At first she refused. Then, after a long hesitation, she accepted. They walked to a small cafe across the street. Sunlight streamed through the windows as customers chatted around them, unaware of the emotional earthquake unfolding at one corner table. For several minutes neither spoke much. Celine stared at the warm meal in front of her as if she had not eaten properly in days. Adrian watched quietly, struggling to reconcile the woman before him with the memories he carried. Eventually the truth began to emerge. 7 years ago, shortly before their planned engagement, Celine had received devastating news. Her father had become involved in serious financial crimes. Investigators were preparing arrests. The scandal threatened to destroy everyone connected to the family. At the same time, her mother had been diagnosed with a severe illness requiring expensive treatment. Fear consumed her. She believed that staying with Adrian would drag him into a disaster he did not deserve. Instead of asking for help, she made a desperate decision. She left without warning, convinced she was protecting him from the collapse of her family. The decision changed everything. Her father's arrest led to the loss of their home and savings. Medical bills quickly overwhelmed what little remained. Celine spent years working multiple jobs while caring for her mother. Every day became a battle for survival. Then came another tragedy. her mother passed away. Without family, support, or financial stability, Celine's life continued to unravel. Job losses, debt, and bad luck pushed her closer to poverty. Eventually, she found herself living in shelters and surviving day by day. Throughout those years, she often thought about Adrian. Many times she considered contacting him. But shame always stopped her. She could not bear the thought of him seeing what her life had become. As Adrian listened, his anger slowly dissolved into sorrow. He realized that while he had spent years wondering why she left, she had spent those same years carrying burdens alone. Her silence had not come from cruelty. It had come from fear, pride, and desperation. Outside the cafe, the afternoon sun continued to shine. Life moved forward around them. Yet inside, both were confronting years of pain they had never truly faced. Over the following weeks, Adrian made a decision that surprised even himself. He helped Celine find temporary housing. He connected her with professional counselors and employment opportunities. Most importantly, he treated her with dignity. He never acted like a savior. He simply offered the support she had once been too afraid to ask for. Recovery was not immediate. Some days were difficult. Old regrets surfaced. Trust had to be rebuilt slowly. Yet for the first time in years, Celine began to believe that her future could be different from her past. Months passed. The woman who once sat outside the mall asking strangers for spare change gradually transformed into someone rebuilding her life with confidence. She found stable work at a local community center helping vulnerable families. Ironically, her years of hardship gave her a unique ability to understand those struggling around her. One bright afternoon, nearly a year after their unexpected reunion, Adrian visited the same mall where everything had begun. This time Celine stood beside him. Not on the sidewalk. Not with a paper cup. But smiling beneath the warm daylight, helping organize a charity event for homeless individuals. As crowds gathered, many people stopped to donate. Few knew the story behind the woman welcoming guests with kindness and gratitude. Adrian watched her speaking with families, volunteers, and children. The sadness that once shadowed her face had been replaced by strength. In that moment he understood something powerful. Life does not always break people permanently. Sometimes the deepest wounds become the source of the greatest compassion. Before we reach the end, if this story has touched your heart, please like, comment, share this video, and subscribe to Heartline Stories. Your engagement helps keep meaningful stories like this alive for others who may need hope today. Special request: comment below with the word second chance if you believe one act of kindness can completely change someone's life. Years earlier, Adrian had lost the woman he loved without a goodbye. He thought the story ended with abandonment and heartbreak. Instead, it became a story about understanding, forgiveness, and human resilience. The reunion outside that mall was not the ending either of them expected, but it became the beginning they both desperately needed. And as the sun set over the city that evening, two lives once broken by silence stood stronger because compassion had finally spoken where fear once remained.